My name is Freyr Gunnar Ólafsson, and I'm one of the founders of FSFI, which is a foundation for digital freedoms in Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
And there are several aspects to this, which one among them is free software,
Mm-hmm.
which is about what right people have to use their own computer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is the issues of copyright and how it applies to modern society in the digital age, and whether or not it needs changing and how. And then there's the issues of patents, specifically software patents, which are the biggest problem right now with these, which is one of the issues we were dealing with. But so what we're doing now is we're organizing a conference here in Iceland, get some of the big players in this field or in these fields to come to us to help us organize as well, and also to raise consciousness about these issues and how it truly affects the average Icelandic citizen. You know, a normal person sitting at home using their computer, there's a lot of things that they're not allowed to do, which should be just, which are essential, should be non-issue, like the right to use their programs for whatever, to copy their programs and to give to their neighbors and friends, mm-hmm. and to modify it if they want to change it or use it for something specific, mm-hmm. that the software packages don't offer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now, I think that a lot of people don't really understand what you mean when you say modify software.
Right.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. So, if you're running, let's say you're running, your email program, or you're looking at web pages, then you run a program. So some people use a program called Internet Explorer in Microsoft Windows. Other people use, Safari or Mac OS X. There are different browsers, and these are just these are software packages. But you might want to change it to do something new, like you might want to add a button somewhere, or you might want to understand how it works. And traditionally, software is written in a specific code, which is then changed into something which you can run on your normal operating system. But the resulting program that you run cannot be easily modified. Mm-hmm. You have to use the original language or code before it was turned into the program.
So it's a little like blueprints.
Yeah, it's
like if you have the blueprint for the building, you can plan how to make an extension, and then you can make an extension. Exactly. But if you don't have the blueprint, it's way more difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what you're saying is that people should have the right to have the blueprints to the software in the same way that you might want the blueprints to your building, so that you can modify your software to fit your needs.
Yeah, I might not have the easiest explanation in the world, but
well, software is very hard to explain. I mean, one thing we don't realize, I used to be a programmer.
Right.
One thing we don't realize is it takes 5 or 10 years of hard work to get to the point where you can imagine how to add something to Firefox.
Right.
And so for people who don't really understand that software could be something they could modify or something their kids could modify, I think it's hard for them to understand that free software really means if your program annoys you, you can repair it.
Yeah.
Or your friends can repair it for you.
Exactly.
It's like you can't take the software to the shop to get it tweaked.
Yeah, there's this old analogy about the car, about proprietary software being like an automobile with the with the engine cover welded shut, or that it had a specific keyhole and only the dealership had the keys. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in cars, you would like to look under the hood, under the bonnet, mm-hmm. but unless you take it to the dealership, they won't let you look under it. Mm-hmm. And Also, this has to do with education. This is specifically why I am interested in free software and digital freedoms. Is that in all schools there are some bright kids who are interested in learning how to program and how to change existing programs specifically. And the best way to learn how to make software is by reading a lot of code and writing a lot of code. So where will you read all this code if all the software is locked away, under the bonnet? Where will the brilliant kids, learn how to be more brilliant? They won't have the opportunity unless all the bonnets are open to inspection to whomever owns the car.
This makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of about keeping software in the domain of craft, where you can sort of learn how to do it in the same way that people learn how to mend trucks, rather than having it be this kind of difficult, kind of closed science.
Yeah, instead of it being a cult which no one is allowed to look into, it's a way for it's like an open square where everyone is allowed to walk around and look at, or a museum where all the paintings are on the walls where you can inspect them and not locked away.
Cool, that's a very interesting perspective and very useful. Is there anything else you want to say about the conference on Saturday?
Well, yes. This small aspect of mine is just my interest in it, but there are huge other swaths of points of interest regarding culture in general, about whom is allowed to look at what and when and why, and whose culture is it anyway, and generally, if you're interested in just culture in general, or in understanding how you're allowed to express yourself in the future, you should definitely take a look at our conference, which is on the 5th of July at the Grand Hotel.
And what time does it start?
Yeah, it starts at 12 o'clock and is until 6 o'clock in the evening. And there is no entrance fee, so you can just walk right in and make yourself comfortable.